Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? My name is Eric McKinley, and I am the Director of Program Development of National Business Builders. And outside of my yard, man, I was doing some work, still working on my backyard, and I decided to take a break. And I wanted to share some information with you guys. So do me a favor as you jump on, drop your city and your state, like it, share it, tag somebody, all that good stuff. And if you find value in what you see, hear, or learn, make sure you drop me a comment or a message if there's any way that I can help you get started uh, doing anything that you want to do. I don't know. So I'm going to share this with a couple of groups as well. As you know, I love teaching, man, and our business is to actually help individuals who want to become business owners, also to help with personal finances as well. But today, I have a training that I came up with, and I want to share it with you, and I want to get your thoughts on it as well. So, like I said, as you jump on, drop your city and state, like it, share it, and tag someone. So, um, once again, Eric McKinley, Director of Program Development of National Business Builders. We specialize in small business development, focusing in the area of business finances, business building, and also personal finances. And just looking back at this first quarter that's just passed, and there's a lot of people, man, a lot of people who are um, who are in positions and situations where we think that we may be doing the best that we can, but a lot of times we don't know. So my job, my calling, is to teach, educate, um, train. I love it. And I just wanted to share this with you because I came up with this a couple of days ago, and it was heavy on my heart, and I want to share it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. 1 second. All right. Uh, okay. So you ought to be seeing this right now, but the whole idea behind this training is to share and educate, and to let you know there's a difference between being wealthy and being rich. There's a huge difference. Of course, a lot of people don't know that, but being rich basically means that you have enough money to buy the things that you want and enough to live your life as you have it, your lifetime. But building wealth is building assets, and building wealth is accumulation, and it also deals with um, being able to sustain much further than your life. Now, a lot of people, a lot of business owners, a lot of wealthy people talk about cash flow, and the idea about cash flow is that you want to make sure you have enough cash flowing in to where if you can no longer work, well, you can actually continue to live. And cash flow is measured in time. So is wealth. Wealth is measured in time. So the question is, are you looking to build wealth, or are you looking to become rich? So I have some some scriptures that I'll be sharing with you as well. And if you see in the blue highlighter, you'll see the scriptures, and maybe on some of the slides will be highlighted in white. But I want you to pay attention to those because hopefully it'll make some sense. And it says, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth and confirms His covenant, which He swore to your ancestors as it is today." Deuteronomy 8:18. And a lot of us, um, in my field, a lot of people I know, um, we back up what we do by scripture because we deal with a lot of individuals who are spiritual, who are saved, who believe in God, and they want to live and abide by His laws and His rules. But a lot of us don't know how to get started or where to get started. A lot of us don't know, and if you don't know, what can you do about it? Well, you got to go out and you got to do some research. Well, here, a little bit about myself and my wife. We are co-founders of National Business Builders, and we've been married for over 20 years now. 3 beautiful grandchildren, 4 beautiful children, and um, after getting out the military, I dedicated my my life and my time to educating people about finances. We have several businesses, and we built our businesses based off. We built our businesses based off of the idea that we're going to be going deep into financial education and literacy. So we know that we need that foundation. We need that foundation to actually be able to do that. So with that being said, a lot of people don't understand that, and because we do have a strong financial foundation, we've been able to be successful in our business. So let's talk about this, man. A lot of people want to get rich quick. They want to get rich quick, and there's a lot of schemes, and this thing's been around for years. You know, the get rich quick schemes have been around for years, and it's basically a plan to obtain high rates of return for a small investment. That's a lot of people. Everybody wants to get rich quick. Not everybody, but a lot of people want to get rich quick. And it's basically a term that's been used to describe something shady. And it's been around since the early 20th century. But here's what the Bible has to say about get rich quick schemes. It says, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. That's Proverbs 13:11. Think about that. The Bible tells us that if we work for it and get it a little bit by little bit, and we actually understand it and learn how to protect it, then we will be able to grow it and increase it. But if it's something that comes to us fast and easy and quick, it may not be the best way to get it. Okay, it may not be the best way to get it. Now, there's thousands of get rich quick schemes out there that's created by the enemy to make us lose focus of the covenant that God has swore to our ancestors. Think about it. God's already promised us that we will be wealthy. We already rich. We're already rich. Every day we wake up, we're rich. You know, we're rich in life. But he swore to us already, to our ancestors, and he's going to keep that promise to us. But we have to do our part. He gives us the ability to produce. That word produce. We want to be a producer, to produce wealth. Yet, many of us continue to consume. We're consumers, right? And that means that we're eating up every bit of our seed, that resource that we get our hands on. So the key things I want to show you in this one is a producer. Simply somebody who makes or provides goods and services. A consumer, simply someone who only buys and uses goods and services. Now you can be both. You can be a producer and a consumer. And then our resources are something that can be used for a purpose, something that we can use to maybe grow, build, or improve ourselves. So let's talk about big business and why they want your money. They want your money because it has value. Our money has value. And because our money has value, many of us don't know the value of our money, but big business does. Think about it. Big business, basically, is an economic group consisting of a large profit-making corporations. Real simple. You know, you look at big business like the Walmarts, the Targets, the Best Buys, the Lowe's, the Home Depots, things like that. Those are big businesses. They influence us socially. They also influence politics, because this government, this country was built on the backs of people who built businesses for other people. So this country was built on businesses. So think about that. Now, if you think about big business, think about the biggest thing that big business focuses on. See, big business and society, through commercials and advertisement, they have just convinced simple-minded people, hardworking Americans, that it's just easier to wait around and be a consumer. Hey, you don't need to produce anything. We got all that covered. They convinced everybody that, you know, it's more prestigious, it's more it's common, it feels better to be a consumer. You know, go buy that big house, go buy that big car, go buy those fancy clothes, go buy that jewelry, things that don't have value, right? And they made it easy for us to be a consumer. Now, everybody hasn't fallen for that, But there's nothing wrong with consuming, but we have to be able to produce as well, because if we're only consuming, that means pretty soon our resources are going to be used up and gone away. Think about this. By convincing us that we only need to be consumers, that means many of us are driven to make more money. And if we're driven to make more money, in a lot of people's minds, that doesn't mean being wealthy. A lot of people's minds, that means um, simply getting rich. And what happens is we don't really understand the true purpose of money. Money is a tool. It's a resource. It's something that's supposed to work for us. We're not supposed to necessarily work for it. I mean, especially, in the beginning, there's going to be some things that we have to establish and set up so we can actually earn money. But ultimately, we want our money working for us. Because if we're only working for money, just ask yourself, how long would that be able to happen? There's only 24 hours in a day. There's only 168 hours in the week. So how long are you going to be able to work for money? As a result, a lot of people look to get rich quick instead of understanding the importance of building wealth and how much further that could take us. See, building wealth can take us a lot farther than just getting rich quick, because we won't appreciate it. Most people won't appreciate money coming fast. See, people only want to become rich so we can afford the things that we want. And there's nothing wrong with buying into your wants, but we got to look at our needs as well. Think about it. If all we're doing is providing the opportunity to get what we want, then we're missing the whole picture of what God has in store for us. Proverbs 13:22. A good person leaves an inheritance for the children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. There's a lot of people out there right now who are earning good money on the job, and because they don't understand how money works, they're sliding their money to people who are learning how to take care of it through various things, like through big business. It's one thing to have to purchase food or have to purchase goods and services just to survive, but it's another thing just to feed into our wants and our desires. And pretty soon what happens is we end up working just to get things we want instead of using our intelligence and our gifts and skills and talents to build wealth. Now, banks and other financial institutions, they are still a part of what actually takes our wealth. Think about it. A bank, basically, it's a financial institution licensed to receive deposits and make loans. Many of us put our money in banks. Because we think that's where our money's supposed to go. That's what we've been told. We feel like our money's safe there. But ultimately, what really happens is people are putting their money in the bank so they can get access to it. A financial institution, talking about things like J.P. Morgan and Chase banks and Edward Jones and other financial institutions, they're responsible for the supply of money to the market, to the stock market, through the transfer of funds from investors, individuals, companies, things like that. Okay, so when you're talking about the role that banks and other financial institutions play in our ability to create wealth, we got to use that to our advantage. We got to use that as leverage. And the only way to do that is to understand how money works. Now, banks and other financial institutions have also convinced us that, if we can't afford to pay for it, hey, we need to go ahead and finance it. What happens then? That makes us less wealthy. It takes our resources. It takes our money through debt and interest. Say that again. If you can't afford to pay for it, banks and other financial institutions have said, hey, listen, you know what? Don't worry about it. Let's go ahead and finance it. And while you're financing it with money that we don't own, we're going to charge you some interest. And interest is the penalty that we pay for the right to own something in advance that we can't afford. So check out Proverbs 22:7 and then Romans 13:8. And it simply says this. Proverbs 22:7, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. See, we're not supposed to owe anybody anything but love. No debts. That's what the word says, Romans 13:8. It says, let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt of love, of debt to love one another. For whoever loves others has fulfilled the law. We're not supposed to owe anybody. So think about that as we go forward, learning more about money. Now, here's the government's role in your wealth building journey. Let's talk about taxation briefly, okay? It's kind of funny because when I did the research, a lot of people don't know that a lot of, actually everything that we do in life is in the Bible, and nothing is new under the sun. But a lot of people are not getting this because we're focusing on the secular part of it and not looking at the spiritual part of it. Think about this. A government is an institution or a system made up of a group of people that takes care of or manages a country or state. Guess who else is a government? You. See, a government has an economy, and you have an economy as well. I want to say that again. The government has an economy, and they're responsible for taking care of that economy, whether it be the federal government or the state or local. See, as you learn how to build wealth through different strategies, you're going to be required to pay taxes on your wealth. But you got to be careful that you don't overpay. You want to make sure you take care and protect your money. See, when you overpay taxes, this assists in diminishing your wealth of your country. That's your generations. Your country is your generations. You are responsible. You are responsible to take care of your generations. All right, you're responsible. So you're your own entity. And if the government is bound by law not to overtax us, then wouldn't it make sense not to overpay taxes? Take a look at Luke 3:12-13. Even tax collectors came to be baptized. And they said, teacher, what should we do? Because I think they were conflicted. They were conflicted because they were coming to be baptized. And this is when they were talking to John the Baptist. And he said, don't collect any more than you're required to. That's what he told them. I want you to think about it. If the law says that they're not supposed to collect more from us than they're required to collect, then why would we pay more than we're supposed to pay? That's eating into your wealth. So I got some more information I want to share with you in the upcoming slides, and it's going to be focusing on Mark chapter 12 verses 14-17. All right, and it talks about government, and as we're supposed to pay taxes, we're supposed to render to what Caesar is to Caesar. But everything that I'm sharing with you is biblical and it's backed up by scripture. Mark 12:14 says, they came to him and said, teacher, we know that you're a man of integrity. And if you want to get the full gist of it, read the whole scripture, the whole verse, the whole chapter of 12, because they were actually trying to trick Jesus, right? But they came to him and said, teacher, we know that you're a man of integrity. You aren't swayed by others because you pay no attention to who they are, but you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. They're talking to Jesus. Is it right to pay imperial tax to Caesar or not? They went on and said, hey, should we pay or shouldn't we? Because Jesus knew they were trying to trap him, he asked them to bring them that coin, the denarius. Bring the coin to him. And they brought the coin. And he asked them whose image was on the coin. They responded, it was Caesar's. Whose inscription was on the coin? It's Caesar's. And then in Mark 12:17, Jesus said to them, give back to Caesar, talking about taxes, what the imperial taxes, give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, but also don't forget to give back to God what is God's. And I should have put this in here, and I probably will when I share this again, but I want you to think about the 10-10-80 rule. The 10-10-80 rule. See, the government is going to tax your money. If you have a job, they're going to tax you right off the bat. But you want to make sure you give back to God what is God's. Whatever you believe in, you may call it charity, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to give back to God because it's already his. But then you want to take the other 10% and you want to invest it. You want to invest it into your wealth. You want to invest it into your retirement. You want to invest it into building something. And then the 80% you want to live off of. But you want to do your best to live off less than 80%. So you may have a 10, 10, 10, 70 rule, whatever the case may be. But this is law, okay? This is law. So even the wealthy, and this is a correction, I need to fix this, but even the wealthy 1% follow biblical principles. And this is a picture that I captured from Forbes, okay? Even the wealthy 1% follow biblical principles. See, I don't care what people say. I don't care what people think. We have to understand that the reason why many of God's people are not experiencing wealth on earth is because we are picking and choosing what we want to believe. But it's right there in the word. Wealth is the abundance of valuable financial assets or physical possessions which can be converted into a form that can be used for transactions. Wealth can be knowledge. Wealth can be anything that is created, that is formed or shaped. Okay. Now, I want you to think about this. With everything, as we wrap this up, with everything that I've talked about, it could be a huge challenge finding out where and how to get started. That's why I'm here. I like to share information. Don't just listen and hear what I'm saying. Verify it. There's a lot of instructions that are shared when there's not a lot of instructions that are shared, but there are a lot of instructions that are out there. And you want to start in the Bible on how to protect and grow our resources, our money. Many things are involved as it pertains to building wealth. Growing suggests that we learn to invest to grow our assets. A lot of people are not going to want to build businesses, and I get it. I don't understand it, but I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it, because that's a choice that you make, because God gives us the free will to do as we want. That's why a lot of people are poor. That's why a lot of people are struggling, because of that free will and because of us not following instructions. But I want you to take a look at Ecclesiastes 11, 1-2. And it says, to ship your grain across the sea. After many days, you may receive a return. Invest in 7 ventures. Yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. That talks about investing. So if the word talks about building wealth, the word talks about investing, the word talks about building assets, why is it that more people aren't doing it? Once we learn the rules, the principles, and strategies to build generational wealth, it's going to become a lot easier. We must first have the mindset to want to produce and not just consume. Here's some questions that I have for you. Are you happy with your current financial situation? If not, are you willing to do something about it? Do you want to learn to build generational wealth? And are you willing to take the necessary steps to do so? Here's our contact information. You can reach us at our website, or you can check us out at our website at www.nationalbb.net. You can reach us via email at build@nationalbb.net, or you can reach us on our business line at 803-848-0070. Also, you can check our events page on our website, because we have a lot of events going on. And then last but not least, follow us on one of our social media links, or follow us on all of them, okay? The bottom line is this. We don't know what is going to happen, but what we do know specifically is that we have the ability to create and build wealth. The question is, are you willing to do what's required? That's it. So I'm about to get back to my day. I appreciate everybody who jumped on. I see we got Cortina on. Thanks, I appreciate it. And for everybody who shared it and liked it, here's what I do know. Nothing's going to change our situation until we change it. We've had, over the last 15 months, we've had several thousands of dollars pass through our hands. Some families have seen upwards $20,000 over the last 15 months via the government in the form of stimulus money. And over the past 15 months, I'm not saying that $20,000 is a lot, especially for some families, but it's not small chump change. So you got to ask yourself, what are you doing with the money that the government is giving you to sustain, maintain, and even build something for yourself and your family? Got to ask that question. I hear a lot of people saying, you know, don't tell people what to do with their money. Okay, you're right. I should not tell people what to do with their money, but I'm going to give you some recommendations as to what not to do with your money. Stop buying junk. Start investing in assets. Put your money into a place, into a vehicle, to where it's gonna actually grow for you. Create an emergency fund. You know, if you don't want to build a business, get with a financial advisor, a certified financial advisor, or a financial planner, someone that you trust to help you to build and grow your money. I mean, even before that, get some education. Bottom line is, once again, if nothing changes, nothing will change. So I'm going to get back to my yard work. I got some more leaves and stuff to pick up. I got some more, a couple more trees to prune. But I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you got some value out of what I shared, and I hope it made sense. Once again, thanks to everybody for jumping on. Like it, share it, and tag somebody. My name is Eric McKinley, the Director of Program Development of National Business Builders. Like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, when you know better, that is when you have the ability to do better. And the only knowledge that's powerful is properly applied knowledge. I'll see everybody at the top because there's too many people struggling at the bottom.